Hello, we are going to talk about how to open a company in Panama and the taxes involved. The normal entity that we use in Panama to do business is the corporation, or what we call it in Spanish, Sociedad Anónima. The corporation, or the Panamanian corporation, is very flexible and easy to incorporate. It takes about 1 to 2 weeks to get it incorporated, and after that we need to go and initiate the process with our tax authority. Our tax authority is called DGI, or Dirección General de Ingresos. It's the entity that regulates everything that is involved with the taxes. In order to initiate that process, in order to initiate the process, we need to complete information in the tax authority and related to what you see in the screen, RUC. Those are letters that relate in Spanish to Registro Único de Contribuyente, or a taxpayer number. Every company or every normal person doing business has a taxpayer number. All we need to do is to finish the information or complete the information in the tax authority. After that, you get an NIT. The NIT is a password that you will get in order to get the tax information of your company online. The next step is the operation license, or what we call aviso de operación. The operation license is fairly easy to get. It takes about 24-48 hours to get it, unless the activity or the commercial activity that you are going or planning to perform is a regulated activity, such as probably tourism or something related to petroleum, oil, and some other activities that are specifically regulated. And therefore, it is necessary to get an approval from the related entity to that commercial activity before getting the operation license. Next steps are the opening of accounting books. You need to get an accountant, and it is part of the legal process to open an accounting book. You can have the accounting book, or you can have a software where you can store the accounting information of your company. The minutes registry, or the book of minutes of the company, it can be just a folder where you will store the different minutes of meetings of the shareholders or the board of the company. You also need a share registry where all of the shareholders will be recorded and kept. That registry is kept by the company. Of course, the shares are owned by each shareholder, and every shareholder should have one. The other thing you need is a bank account. And the next step is you need to get yourself an invoice machine, or what we call a máquina fiscal. There are certain companies that are allowed to sell you a máquina fiscal, an invoice machine. It is important. It is a process that needs to get done, and you need to invoice through that machine. If your company is going to have workers, at least one worker, you need to record or register the company with the Social Security system of Panama. That is a requirement, there is an obligation that all companies or normal persons doing business and having a worker needs to go through. Then record the company in the municipality. There are several municipalities in the Republic of Panama. The more organized municipalities are those that are the capitals of every province. The municipality of Panama, David, Santiago, Chitré. Those are municipalities well organized, and most of the time they do require to record the company in such municipality and also pay the municipal taxes. There are some yearly obligations regarding to taxes. The tax return is an obligation for every company, every person doing business in Panama. Every year a tax return must be presented with the tax authority. The normal or general income tax in Panama is 25% of the profits. There are some exceptions and variations depending on the commercial activity of your company, but the basic rate is 25%. If your company is related to another company abroad, and such between that company abroad and your company in Panama, there are payments between the parties, and those are related parties, a transfer prices study and report must be submitted every year to the tax authority. You also need to have a physical inventory updated every year. Every month, you need to present and pay the sales tax report. In Panama, the sales tax is 7%, and every month you need to report the sales of the previous month and then pay, because the company will withhold from the client that 7%, and then you need to pay it on the next month. Every month you need to pay for the Social Security quota that is of course related to the worker. There is part of it is paid by the worker and part of it is paid by the employer. And there is also the municipal tax, which varies from municipality to municipality within the Republic of Panama. There are other taxes. If the company owns property, for example, and that property has a value of more than $30,000, then that property needs to pay a property tax every year. The rates depends on the value of the property. The normal rate begins in 0.6% out of the value above $30,000. There is the withholding tax for payments to non-residents. For example, if your company hires a service from a company from another country that does not operate in Panama, and that company comes to Panama and provides you with that service, that specific payment is taxable in Panama with income tax. Therefore, the company receiving the service or paying for the service needs to withhold the tax, which is 12.5% of the invoice, withhold and send that money to the tax authority. And then is the withholding tax of capital gains. And usually the most used are two: the sale of securities, specifically shares. When you sell shares, the buyer of the shares must withhold 5% out of the purchase price and send that to the tax authority. The same for the sale of property. The rate is 3%. There are some variations, but it's basically 3%, and it has also to be withheld by the buyer. These are general taxes, general information about companies and the taxes that are involved in an operation. For more questions, you can contact me through the email that you see in the screen. Thank you very much.